Never.
Esports. So over here in the bottom right, he's up so far. Let's see if he can keep the ball rolling. He is.
Master. Maru Prime.
And in the upper left, were we wrong in predicting him to win this series? We'll find out soon. He is.
Grandmaster. STXO Innovation.
You know, if Innovation was to lose this, I would love it if every game looked exactly like that. Like Maru just keeps doing that strat. He's like, well, I go cloaked Banshee, I kill a bunch of your Marines, and I bring my own Marines and kill you.
Innovation's like, well, god damn it, man. I guess I don't get to play a serious game, man. We'll see. I mean, that would be fun to cast.
There's nothing more serious than a one-base all-in Tasteless.
That's true, Artosis.
And that's a good one. I do like the one that he did because it has a lot of skill in it where you're microing quite heavily, and behind it you have to keep your production up because your second push is very, very important, but cannot succeed without the Banshees doing some damage.
You know what's smart about it, too, is these really good players, they're okay losing Marines as long as they don't lose that many SCVs. So one of the things the strategy's hinged on is this guy being willing to drop an extra mule or two, let the Marines sponge up damage, and then the result is that the second attack actually does more damage than one would expect because the Marines were soaking up so many hits early on.
That's very true, and don't forget that Innovation went for Counter Cloak, which is something that we see a lot. Someone opens Cloaked Banshee, going Cloak back against them can be very nice, because if you open Cloaked Banshee, your economy's a little bit slower, and you're going to have a higher price on your mules being dropped or versus scans. So, like, that's normally a nice decision. Here, though, when there was a counter follow-up, you know, you would have been better off going into, like, let's say, siege tanks.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because that counter with Cloak, it is really good, like you said. But it does give a window where the other player can continue to be aggressive.
Yeah. All right. So we have factories for both players. A little bit quicker for Maru, but I think that this is going to be a better situation for Innovation overall. Is Maru
going to proxy something?
Yes, I think he's going to go for a starport over there. Ooh. Like maybe a proxy Banshee?
Think so.
Yeah, and if it is proxy Banshee, will he end up getting Cloak for it? That gets a little bit scary.
That can get a little bit tricky, too.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. And, you know, another thing I'm thinking is if he does go for the Banshee, and I think it's safe to assume right now with the positioning of that SCV and everything, he probably will, that...
I just had this vision.
So
I was trying to think, what else could he build there? Imagine if he built a sensor tower there. I suppose, like, why is there a sensor tower down there as soon as it pops up?
So the only thing that he could do that would be worse is that he builds an armory there. I'm like, what?
Well, the sensor tower would show up immediately, right, with the dotted lines. So
the sensor tower
I dare say the sensor tower would be worse than the armory there.
That's so funny.
Maybe if you started vehicle plating. Yeah. That's so funny.
Hidden vehicle plating rush.
Yes. +1 air attack, but he's going for Marines. It's like, what? Okay, so we do have this starport finishing up. Will we see a tech lab? Oh, a medevac first. Okay.
The only thing that made it weird is a proxy Viking. I'm like, I don't know about this Artosis. I think
flies in,
takes this one.
lands
it. Yeah, the Marines kill it.
Oh my. All right, so Innovation is actually going straight into a Raven here, and I really do like that. He's being super careful here. He does not want to lose to any sort of cheese.
Well, he's definitely adjusted from, you know, the previous game where he was just... he was investing too much into the late game, which allowed Maru, excuse me, I almost called him Maru, allowed Maru to do the damage needed early on. Now here comes that medevac drop. Let's see how much damage it can do.
Well, with a couple Hellions in there and quite a few Marines as well, it could do quite a bit. And in fact, he takes out that Widow Mine. Very well done. The medevac doing its job, healing everything up. Going to have to throw down that auto turret, and does force him away for now.
All right, thank God for that auto turret. That was starting to do more and more and more damage, but a second medevac is being made. He's going for the elevator strat, Artosis.
Yes, he certainly is.
He's going to elevator this right inside his opponent's base.
Well, he's going to have to go land somewhere else, and in fact, he's going to. Of course, that Widow Mine was already killed off, so it's not going to be any good defense there. And here we go.
All right, he's unloading all these units. And this actually might be too much damage. I think we're
my
going to go down
God.
to 2-0.
This could be tasteless. Maru, this is really nice. Oh my God, that's a ton of
He
damage.
just had to cancel that, I believe it was an additional command center. GG. Okay.
Innovation is in trouble.
Creepy.
This is crazy.
What's happening? What if he 4-0s?
You know what?
You know what? I always think, like,
If he 4-0s with builds like this, just like one base all ins, maybe
some
it's
reason-
time. You can't open Tasteless with just a Raven. You also need a Viking and a Siege Tank and
This
a
is
bunker in
true.
your main base to stop Maru.
I don't know why. Maybe I'm like a really dark guy with my thoughts, but I'm always like, what if I had bet my life on this? You know what I mean?
That's pretty dark.
It's like, what if, like, there was some terrible game. I was in some madman's, dungeon, and he was like, all right, you have to bet your life on one Starcraft game. You pick anyone in
I
this
wouldn't
whole
have chosen
tournament,
this one.
and I would have been like, this one. Innovation will beat Maru for sure. And then I'm thinking, what if I was wrong, Artosis?
I think you'd be dying.
This is why I have sleeping problems, Artosis, is I terrify myself with these awful ideas.
Yes, I guess.
All right, this is not good for Innovation. This is unexpected. These are quick losses.
Yeah.
And if I'm Maru, I would not. From my standpoint, I would not mind seeing just more all-ins.
I think he just needs to keep on doing these all-ins,
Yeah.
and they all need to be different because, all right, let's look at the 2 all-ins that he already did. He did that drop that we just saw right there, and then the other one was a Cloak Banshee into Marine Siege Tank.
Yeah.
What's a different type all-in you could do now? You know what? Double Proxy Racks, maybe.
Well, that's definitely one of them.
Yeah.
What's the next map?
Wasn't the next one Anaconda, I believe?
I think you're right. I almost said Aklon, but I think you're right. I think it is Anaconda.
I think Aklon is map 5, I want to say, but
I don't know.
it's hard to remember all of it.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there? You could do proxy. He could do like some, one of those really quick Reaper openings.
Oh, yeah.
Could do double Rex. We've just been informed the next map is Anaconda.
Yes. So this is not a bad one for Proxy Raxes. We've definitely seen that here before.
Yeah.
Could be something like that. I would love it. If I actually, and here's the thing, I'm totally on the side of the macro player, the player that's trying to get to the long
you're much
game
more of a
and make-
macro guy, but
Yeah, but-
I mean the point is to win the
No, exactly.
best
And
of- yeah.
If Maru keeps this up, and if he is rightly, he's looked at this, he's like, I don't know if I'm going to beat him in macro games so easily, so I'm going to keep cheesing, and keeps doing it. I'm like, well, that I'm also down for winning strategies. Like, what do you actually do to try to win?
Yeah, well, we'll see after this short break, so don't go anywhere.